should let me love you forever, forever. I wanna love you. Will you let me love you forever, forever and a day, 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 day.
You're on mute. You're on mute. I see your little microphone crossed out. Y'all, we're gonna get there. Listen, Linda's coming back. We're gonna get to it, okay?
Oh Lord, it's been a mess. It's been a mess backstage. It's been a mess before backstage. I was like, can y'all? Oh, it's muted. You guys, TMW Online, the Melanated way. I'm Linda. This is Abby. We are trying to catch all things season 8, episode 20, the Tell-All Part 1. This is not how it's supposed to be, but here we are. Forgive me, y'all. Forgive me. Maybe I'm in vacay mode still. Maybe I'm in lake mode. I don't know, but
The world, a lot of things have happened in the world this past weekend. So let's just all give each other a little break, a little hug, okay?
Silver Lining says, was there a notice? Okay.
You're living in the notice.
It's 100% my fault. We're an hour late, and it's all because of me. And I just don't have any excuse to tell you. That's how it worked out. Thank you, Abby, for being flexible. We really wanted to make sure that we were caught up so that we could talk all things part 1 of the tell-all. It's kind of not how it was supposed to go down, but here we are. We made it.
Yes, yes.
Years, we made it. Woof.
And let's get into it because I have judgments to pass. I should have. Oh, do I have one of my little gavels with me? There's one back there. I don't feel like reaching for it, but I have judgments to pass.
I love it. We'll do it for next time. What were your overall thoughts of part 1 of the tell-all?
Okay, I thought that Sean did a little bit better than usual getting to some of the questions that we want her to ask. Of course, there's like a few things that I would really love her to go more in depth into and not leave on the table. But in general, based on other tell-alls, I feel like she's asking way better questions.
I think she did way better. I think the online chatter with her being replaced by that super fan dude that is covering the single life tell-all, I think that snapped her into some type of place. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Where you're like, oh, my job's in jeopardy. Let me get my act together. I believe this is the first time she actually watched the show. So she's up to date with all the people and can ask the questions in the moment. Because as you know, you have to know what's going on so that you can react to what they're saying, because sometimes they're telling you something that may be behind the scenes or whatever, but if you know and you're up to date with what's going on in the couple, then you can roll with that. And I think that that's the difference that we're seeing now, that she's actually watched the show rather than just covering the key pieces that she's seeing while she's on the tell-all. So yes, I agree with you, Abby, that she totally more engaged, totally more up in the know. And yeah, overall did a better job. Now, could she have done more and been deeper? 100%. But this tell-all, you guys, was so entertaining. It was so entertaining, like 100%. They have a new confessional cam, so the cast can go there and talk crazy anytime they want throughout the tell-all. They do a synopsis. So let's just jump into the synopsis and then we can talk about it. Hey, Silver Linings. Hey, Radella. Thank you, live chat, for being here last minute. And, you know, yes to everything you're thinking about. Yes. Messy. But you know what? It's in line with the messy tell-all. Emma, she's walking down the streets of New York City. She's attracting Moroccan guys. She calls herself cute and insane. And she has been in contact with Ziad. Oh, that is not the one, y'all. It's this one. And looks gorgeous. I actually really like this outfit with the boots and the whole thing. We're hearing that Zia has told her that she looks fat. And, you know, without me going on a TED Talk, you guys, there's nowhere in any shape, way, or form that this girl is fat. Like, period, full stop. There's just not. So Ziad being a little man, you know, like less than 5'6", and him being little in all aspects, as we find out, maybe he would think she's fat, but he's putting it in relation to him being a little man. And, you know, little men have little man syndrome. And so they're going to attack you in the only way they know. And the only way they know is by looking at you and comparing you to what they look like. And, you know, if he's, you know, a little midget, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, he only said that to be hurtful.
100%. Forrest arrives. I laughed. His hair's a little bit longer. I'm not sure what he's doing, but he's doing some type of like something. And he's confused and lost. He's on FaceTime with Sheena, but he's excited to be there. You can tell that, you know, this is a second major trip outside of his little town. You know, Philippines, yes. Now he's in New York City. And he arrives, and the funniest thing to me, and anyone that is been in production and TV. Oh, can you see me?
I can't see you. Can you guys see Linda in the chat? I hear you, but I can't see you.
Again. Can you see me now?
No.
Oh, that's
Joslo,
weird.
you there? Can you see Linda?
Hey, Joslo. Oh, she can see me.
Okay, perfect. Well, let's go on. I can hear you, so it's fine.
We see both. Okay, thanks, Joslo. So Forrest, again, like I'm saying, if you guys have ever gone on a production anywhere, craft services is a major situation. So for him to end up at craft services where all the food is was hilarious to me. Like, go ahead and pack you some to-goes, Forrest. We find out that he hasn't seen Sheena in a year, and he's trying to still get Sheena to the US on that K-1 visa. A year? So you haven't gone back in a year? Okay. Elise is up next. And I just thought that whole situation for women was cringeworthy. She's pretending to work out. She's sprinkling water on her face and chest. And talking about other women, and mentioned Emma reaching out to her and saying that, you know, at the end of the day, if she had to tell Emma's secret, which she knows, she'll tell it. And I was like, that all of that is not girls' behavior, Abby. Like, between I get the internet, and I get, you know, faking the funk, all of the stuff, but as women, we already have a really, really hard time. And you guys know that I talk about this all the time. Women are women's worst haters. And the simple fact that, first of all, she's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. And I really do enjoy Elise. And I agree with a lot of the stuff that she's saying. But some of the stuff that she does is a little cringe. And this was cringe to me because it just didn't give off girl's girl. What were your thoughts on that part, Abby?
Okay, so perhaps because I'm missing some of the context here, I was like, I'm gonna let there be some room that there's maybe something I don't understand, but it seemed like to me that Emma was reaching out to be proactive. So unless there's something that you guys can fill me in on, I didn't think she was being very nice.
I mean, the fact that you're fake working out really bugs me. It bugs me. It bugs me. And it just bugs me. It does, because young girl. Okay, so I'll give you a little. I told this story earlier today, and I'm going to make it way shorter. But this weekend, I was in Lake Washington, and there was like a little kid's birthday party. And it was this little black girl. She's probably like eight or nine, and her little brother. And they ran up to me and they said like all this stuff. And oh my God, you're so beautiful, and blah, 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 all this stuff. And for as hard as we are to each other as women, and especially Black women, and the standards of what beauty are and Barbie and all of those things, it's really important for us to love ourselves and represent ourselves the way we can best represent ourselves, and that is loving who you are, because yeah, the younger generation are looking, and that's who they see as the people to look up to, right? And so when you're faking the funk, you're like a size 0 and you're faking the funk about working out and then making jokes that you never work out, but then you have the body of like this Barbie model, and then girls are trying to attain that. What is that saying about you?
Oh, yes.
And
Yeah.
then you're faking the workout and you're sprinkling water. Well, first of all, that's not sustainable, and that is not the truth. And I just don't like it. Like, be honest with who you are and what you're doing so that women know that it's okay, all your shapes and sizes, and working out is difficult and takes a long time. And I'll share with you guys, 2 years ago in August, I had a health scare, and that's what changed. So a lot of people are like, oh my God, you lost so much weight, blah, blah. Yeah, because it's taken me 2 years. 2 years of consistently dieting, consistently working out, consistently watching my intake. It didn't happen overnight. It took 2 years. It's August of 2024, and we're now in 2026. So we're going into, the third year. So you guys just mind what you watch and mind what people are telling you, and nothing short term and quick fix.
Yeah.
It's probably a lie, and that's the part that I didn't like.
Yeah, I understand that. But we also have to change our behavior with regard to that too. Like, if you want to see people who have bodies that reflect the majority of the population, then those have to be the people that you follow and comment on and support. You can't expect that anything is going to change if people who behave the way that Elise did in that clip are the ones that have millions of followers. You do have the individual power to choose who you're going to follow and comment on and support. So when you see someone with a regular body, make sure to drop a comment on their video, leave some encouragement, keep them out there, keep them employed too.
100%. Hey, Metter. Hey, Becca. We see Forrest, Elise, and Emma meet up backstage, and I just thought this whole transaction was hilarious. So Forrest tells Elise, oh my gosh, you're so pretty and you're so tall. And I didn't realize, Abby, how tall Elise really is, which is part of the whole framework thing, right? Because Forrest is 6'3", and yes, Elise is wearing heels, but she is quite tall. I would probably say she's like 5'11", and then she's got her heels on, because she's like equivalent. And then we have Emma, who's right there as well. And we find out that Emma has a little bit of hate towards Sheena, and later on in the episode we find out why. She has a little crush on Forrest, which is so fascinating to me. But she thinks that Forrest deserves better than Sheena. I said, did we watch the same season?
We did, but when she said it, I was like, Emma is the kind of person who would readily give up her life, profession, and everything else for the relationship. And so she's not understanding the cultural pull that Sheena has to stay with her family, to give money to her family, her desire to maintain her profession as a veterinarian. Emma wouldn't understand any of that.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly what is happening in that situation.
Agreed. Laura arrives, and the first thing I noticed was that she had a wedding ring on, and we'll talk about it after, but that was the first thing that I noticed, was this thing that was blinging in my face. Even before she said anything, I was like, oh, so the little red string thing got removed. So we'll find out a little bit later how that happened in the tell-all. So Emma, Elise, and Laura are bonding, and they're bonding over their fake tatas. And you guys, I don't know. I know this is not like super, it's not like great. Hey, Tanya. Tanya says, I'm here for the drag. I hope I didn't miss it.
Oh, we're just warming up, Tanya.
Yes, warming up. So Emma and Elise are bonding over the fake tatas, and then Laura joins them. And Laura's like, mine are real. And they're all like squished. It was like such a girl moment. They're squishing each other's tatas. And Emma's like, well, we paid for ours. And Laura's like, well, mine are real. And I died of laughter. And because that's something that we would do as women. We would just be like, hey, this is what's going on, and be real with it. And my first question to you guys is, would you get like a tata lift or fake tatas if that made you feel better, Abby?
It's not for me. I don't have any problem with anybody who wants to do it. After I got done breastfeeding, I thought that I might want to do a lift, but it turns out that just like my mom told me to wear my bra at night, and I would get some automatic lift back, and it actually worked. So at this moment, I'm really comfortable being smaller. I'm on the small side. I can wear most of my tank tops without a bra, and I kind of like that. No, I like it a lot. I'm gonna be honest. I like it a lot. So I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with whatever you guys love. If you love it, I love it for you. Whatever makes you feel beautiful, I'm here for. So this confessional cam, which is new, and I actually really love it, and all the tell-alls and all the things, this confessional cam is giving. So first confessional cam is with Elise, and she thinks that Laura is being stupid. She's going for the new shiny object, which is beer can, versus Michael, her old true and true. And she thinks it's not going to last a few years before Laura comes running back to Michael. And I was like, oh, she is starting off strong, like 100% strong.
Did you notice that she called BeerCon sexy?
I didn't, actually.
I wrote it down. Elise described BeerCon as sexy, because I was like, I have to ask Linda in the chat, have we missed something? Is this man attractive under some beauty standards that we are unaware of? Is it just simply out of my tax bracket that I don't understand the sexiness that he's exuding despite being homeless with a gambling problem? What is going on here, guys? Joslo, did you have any explanation for that?
The live chat is popping. Nice. You guys have a lot of thoughts. Now, Silver Lining said she had a lift with implants to put them back where they were. Natural DDD. They look natural there, though. Thank you for sharing that. Becca says, I think Elise is just being nice, or just is nice. Okay. Interesting, you guys. So that was the first confessional. And then Laura showed up, and you know, you guys, I know I've been hard on Laura and Daniel this whole season, and I know that when I'm not fond of people, I'm not super like open. I know that about myself, but like I'm all about enhancing. You guys know I have my eyebrows and my lashes, all the things, but those contacts that she was wearing were wild to me. They were wild. I could not even. Oh, am I saying? Yeah.
You guys know she gets Laura and Lisa mixed up.
I'm doing it again. Thank you, Joslo. Lisa and Daniel. Joslo's like, who? Lisa and Daniel. Yes, and I do get them mixed up, but same. Not same. I'm being an asshole. Lisa, and I wrote down Laura. It's Lisa. Lisa and her contacts were crazy to me. I just was like trying to feel like what's going on here. She looked like she was part of what's that movie
Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, The White Walkers,
with the blue people?
Avatar.
Avatar. She looked like an avatar to me. Hey, Lori, stories. Yeah, she looked like an avatar to me, but whatever. So she wants to feel young and beautiful, and without her wig, she's not as confident. But she, quote, is embracing her inner self. Now, here's the thing that I don't know about you all, and Abby, I would love to hear. Tanya, oh my God, you guys, I can't focus and read the live chat at the same time. Tanya said, yikes, scary getting this context from the same place she gets those wigs at Party City. Hey, girl, and cooking up deliciousness. That's so kind. Hi, hit that like button. Love it, you guys. Appreciate you guys. Okay. I'm ignoring the live chat for a second because I want to say this. So when Lisa gets there, Lisa's like, hey, Lisa, you could be a bitch to me, no worries. Like, I got you. And Lisa's like, yeah, I'm going to be bitch to you because I don't like you. You scare me. And I was like, whoa, what? And then Lisa's like, you're tall, you're slim, you're beautiful, you're confident, you're so powerful in that. And it makes me want to shrink. You bring out what the bullies in her high school that went after her did. And Alicia's shocked. And Lisa goes on to call her the Black Widow. And Elisa's like, are you kidding me? And I want to tell you something. Hey, Ryan. That conversation is 100% why women hate on women. And I have had that experience that to this day, I'm not sure where it came from. I was confused by it. So when this came on, it was very relatable. Not triggering because I'm not triggered because I'm still like, what? I had a friend that I had for years. We worked together. We became friends. We were like super besties. We'd do a lot of things together all the time. And one day she called me and basically was like, oh, you have too high standards and you expect too much from your friends and you want to do this and you want to do that and you dress like this and you say this, all the stuff equivalent to what Lisa was saying to Elise. Like, so you're going to pour out all your hatred and insecurities onto me and get mad at me because of how you're feeling. And in all the years that we've been friends, you've never had a conversation to address any of this. And I want to say that that's on them. So when you're online and you're getting bullied or people are commenting on Elise's outfits or commenting what she wears and it's, and I've said this before and I'll continue to say it again. It's all the beautiful women on 90 Day Fiancé that get the most hate. It's because you're dealing with a woman that has their own insecurities, their own trauma that they're pouring on you. Even if they don't really know you, they don't like you online. And if they know you, that's where that phrase frenemy comes from, because they want to be in your presence, but they're secretly hating on you. And I just think that that's the saddest place to be. Go and live your best life. I only ever want to support and uplift friends. And anyone who knows me knows that I'm the biggest cheerleader. Even if I don't know you and we're online friends, I'm your biggest cheerleader. Anyone who knows me that, because I think that there should be more room of women supporting women. So this thing that some of y'all do, the hating part, I don't understand it. Abby, do you want to add anything?
No, I mean, you got it all. I mean, it's never too late, you guys. Whatever your issues are that you had, it's never too late for you to start dealing with them and not make it somebody else's problem. So whatever it is that you see, as a matter of fact, you know, I will share with you, everyone here, we've already talked about it, or at least the people I see like chatting in the live chat. I had major surgery here. And so I have a lot of, oh my gosh, now the word's slipping from my head. When your face is not the same on both sides, a lot of asymmetry. I have a lot of asymmetry. And I had to make a conscious decision at some point. Am I going to hide from the world or am I still going to participate in the world? And so, whatever your issues are, you can make that decision. I still want to be visible. I still want to excel in my field. I still want to do well, you know, in my career. I still want to go out and do things with my kids. Like, you can make that decision and then figure out what steps to get yourself there. So I would never walk up to somebody and say, oh my gosh, you're so symmetrical. I hate that because it brings out the insecurity in me. How is that their problem?
100%. And like Tanya says, don't trauma dump on me. That part. If you want to talk about your trauma, let's talk about it, but don't blame someone else for the trauma that you are going through. And silver lining, oh, I appreciate you. There for me at my darkest times, and I'm just an onliner. Appreciate you. So, yeah, I really wanted to say that part. And then Rick shows up. He alleges that he's been talking to Trisha every day, but a lot has happened. But he wants what he wants, he says. And when I say that he showed up in a slick Rick 1990s shiny blue suit, I just, okay, Rick. You know, he just showed me exactly who he is. And exactly who he is just, that's how I feel, you guys. Like, he showed up. He looked older. He looked more predatory. He looked like all the things that in my mind I've been thinking about him. He showed up in that suit and it just wrapped it up in a bow. Aviva showed up and we are being reminded that Stig broke up with her via text. Again, as you guys know, I get stuck on things, so I again said that Rick's 1990 sparkle suit is disgusting. And then we have confessional part 2, which was Forrest. And you guys, Forrest showed up and showed out on this part 1, at least, of the tell-all. Like, he just was really hilarious and engaged and all the things.
Mm-hmm.
And so his confessional was, he felt like there was just ladies everywhere. And ladies were in revealing dresses and, quote, it was hard on him. And then this is the part that made me laugh. He's like, boob, leg, my God. I was like, see, first of all, that is dudes, right? Dudes are visual. But again, that's their problem. Wear what you want, be who you want. That's their problem. That's their problem. If you can't handle it, again, that's your problem. Period. So, what do you think about that, Abby?
I thought that Forrest is not just telling us that all this stuff is happening with the women there in the show. I think that he probably also was dealing with an onslaught of attention online as well. It's like, is he alluding to all of the female attention that he's getting right now, attention from women online and in this moment? Or is he just talking about them there?
Maybe.
So I'm going to pop out and back in.
Forrest apparently has said some incel things online. I believe that.
Tell us more. I want to know exactly what he said because he tried to go in on Javon.
Tanya says, Rick reminds me of a bad lounge singer. But yeah, everyone is saying that they've heard that Forrest has said some incel things, and I believe that because before meeting Sheena, it was all incel behavior, right? He lost his virginity to Sheena as a 40-year-old, and so I'm not surprised by that at all. So whatever you guys have heard, let us know in the live chat or in the replay, and then we'll talk about it. That being said, Elise confronts Rick, and so does Laura, and they're both like, hey, listen, how you treated Trisha was terrible. The splash pad thing that you brought was disrespectful. Like, basically, you're a terrible individual, which is everything that we've all been saying this whole season. And for the confessional number 3, it was Laura, and she was trying to like Rick, she said. And her heart is, she's like trying to like Rick, but she felt that he came across as a snake, and Trish could do way better. 100%. 100%. 100%. That's
exactly.
Then we get reintroduced to Emma and Ziad and their rough ending. Yes, they're still broken up. They've been in contact since the breakup a few weeks previously. We find out that she's actively dating. He's, quote, just talking to women, but he still has a lot of hate towards Emma. And I'm not sure where the hate comes from, because he's the one that misrepresented himself. He's the one that said all the things. And what's interesting to me, now that I think back on it, he was telling her all about, like, yes, we can be affectionate and we could do this and this and this and this once you get here. And then as soon as she got there, it was a 360, no. But then we find out that, like, low key, he sleeps around. So all he's talking about that he can't do for his religion and his beliefs is what he does behind closed doors. So
I saw a woman who made a video about Ziad, and she said that there is a decent sized population of men who specifically go after non-Muslim women and do this kind of thing. And then when they're ready to settle down and get married, then they have a Muslim bride. But they seek out foreign women and lie to them in order to have their jollies.
I mean, that's what I've been saying the whole time. I was like, he's never going to marry her. I've said this from day one, that I should have done that video because I know that for a fact, because I've seen it in real life.
You should. You guys tell Linda to be more active on TikTok. Tell her to get those ideas out there.
Yeah, I've been on my own little... Yes. But yes, so that's absolutely true. And that's what's happening right here. And the reason he's mad at her is that she's calling him out on it, because what we don't see is the flip side, where the foreigner calls out X, Y, and Z, and instead they take it as like a shame thing, and they just like, oh, I want people to know that I slept with that person and it didn't work out, right? Because as women, sometimes we are like that, when, own your sexuality and be who you want to be, because these fools are out here running amok. If Klay Thompson can fumble Meg the Stallion by being a cheater, y'all just go and live your great lives and do whatever you want, because these fools are running amok and crashing out, and have been. And now in this social media world where everything is out there immediately, they're crashing and burning. So please go and live your best life and do whatever you want to do. And don't let man make you feel any type of way, because now that they're being called out on their behavior, they're not as strong as us, and so they're crashing and burning, period.
Faizy came in the door with the heat. Zaid is the official tour guide of Morocco.
That's funny. That's funny. Okay, so we go to Forrest, and we find out that Forrest came back from the Philippines, applied to a bunch of jobs, 100 plus jobs, and he got a job as a farm tech. Good for him. Congratulations. Farm techs make pretty decent money, so I'm trying to figure out why you still haven't seen Sheena in a year. Like, you could have taken your 2-week vacation and gone and visited your girlfriend. I'm trying to figure that out.
he's building up that work history and maybe hopefully paying for an attorney or putting money away for those filing fees. Let's hope that he's being responsible with that money.
Okay.
You don't believe it, but you know, I'm hoping, and it seems like, I mean, because he immediately wanted to shout out his coworkers, it seems like they must, you know, have a decent situation at work, a decent relationship. That's good.
Yeah, that part. That's what I believe, because Molly took it all his dough. Facts.
Yeah,
You know what, Becca?
I
He
can
probably
believe that
doesn't
too.
even have his own bank account, and that money gets direct deposited into Molly, and Molly gives him like a daily or weekly allowance. That I
Yeah,
believe.
that's
That part.
exactly what I think that she's been doing with his disability as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if that just continued.
Ryan's like, so Forrest could have been making money as a pharmacist for all these years?
I'm telling you, there was nothing about him, in my opinion, that gave he was unable to maintain a job. But, you know, we don't have his medical records. We don't know if he's made extreme progress over the years since he was determined to be disabled. So,
You guys, I don't know what happened, you guys, but you guys are on fire in the chat today.
Zane is
Zaid
doing his.
says, Zaid is having his Muslim rumspring moment.
He's hanging out with the English, going English. Have you heard them say that? It's the funniest thing to me when they're not Mormon. When the Amish come off of their, I don't know, camp, they call us the English.
I haven't heard that before, but
Yeah. And I was like the first time I watched one of their shows, I'm like, the British? They're like, no, anyone who's like who doesn't live in the 1900s, whatever the time period is they live in, is called English.
oh, fun fact, because I had no idea. Now I know.
Mm-hmm.
What up, avoiding eye contact? Great name, by the way. So we go on to Aviva and Stig. We remember that, you know, they were engaged, fiance and fiance, broke up via text, and Stig says since that they've spoken many times, and then he tries to gaslight her, telling her that she looks so good right now. And the part that pissed me off is and I hate when men do this, when they are like, "What's up, bro?" But he was like, "You look good, bro," and she's like, "Thanks, bro." It's so disrespectful. It really is. And the gaslighting part is just like so irritating. But I will say this, he showed up exactly who he's been from the get-go. From the get-go. And Abby and I were not having it from the beginning of the season. So you can go back to season 1, episode 2, and no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Javon and Annalyn, I was shocked. But I wasn't really, because he had nothing going on in his life in America, you guys. He had a low-paying job. He had incel behavior. He lived with like 5 other dudes. I know it was only 3. I'm exaggerating. He had nothing to lose, right? Because the American dollar, 100 American dollars is going to take you so far in the Philippines, right? So even if he had a couple $1,000s, he could stay there for a few months and he'd be just okay, especially because his wife is settled, you know, has an apartment, the mom has a store. So like he's not going backwards. If anything, he's like breaking even. So I was shocked. Annalyn cut her hair, looks super cute. He's decided that he's moving to the Philippines to work on their marriage. And we find out that somewhere in there, Annalyn said that her mom needs her, so she can't come to America right now. So he has moved there so that she doesn't have to, quote unquote, abandon her mom. Sean asked about the K3 visa. Abby, do you want to talk a little bit about that? Because I thought it was the O visa.
No. So what Sean said was going to be confusing to a lot of people. So let's just go back a little bit and then we'll go forward. So they are already married, okay? So he could do a marriage petition for her, which it sounds like he actually did already submit. And it doesn't expire as long as you stay married. So you can submit it and then use it in 2 years, 4 years, 6 years, as long as you're still married, it's okay, right? But what happens is if you submit that marriage visa and then there's some backlog on it, or you want to try and expedite it, or you haven't used it and now you're ready to use it, you can file what some people refer to as the K3 in order to bring that petition back up to somebody's attention so somebody can start paying attention to it in the consular office. It is not a single application that you get married, now we file a K3. It doesn't exist on its own. It only exists in conjunction with a spousal visa, which the code for that is an I-1I or IR1, sorry, IR1. So she said K3 as if it is a standalone application, and it's not. It only goes with if you've already submitted a spousal application. Does that make sense? Am I explaining it well? Because I was like, oh, she's gonna lose people right here.
I think I'm gonna reiterate what I understand what you're saying. So you're saying, hey, I already got married. I have the spousal visa. And I didn't do anything with it, but now I want to do something with it. So I applied for a K3 visa. And for immigration, that's going to bring my spousal visa application back to the forefront.
Correct.
Okay, then yeah, I understand.
Correct.
Because I was like, K3, big question mark. That's new.
If you submitted that by itself, they would just mail it back to you like, what is this?
Becca's mad. Becca said, so not only does Sean not know about the show, she also doesn't understand the process.
So I think that probably what happened, she doesn't understand the process, but probably what happened is somebody said, hey, he already has a spousal visa, maybe ask him if he's going to file the K3. And she didn't understand that it is a second part. Let's say it's a second part of that application. It's not required, but so instead of phrasing the question, oh, I know that you already applied for the spousal visa. Are you now ready to do your K3? It was just, did you file the K3? Like the question didn't get phrased properly. And I won't assume that she's like a dummy, but maybe she's just misinformed.
And I will, stand in for her a little bit. Because, I did say at the top of the show, she has done much better this season because you can tell that she's actually watched the series. But 9 times out of 10, you guys, it's not the host that is, it's not, okay. If you're like a, okay. If you're like an okay host, journalist, okay to like terrible, you're just gonna show up, look good, and the producers and the writers are going to feed you the information. So you're all either off a teleprompter or, as you see, you have the cue cards, right? And all you have to do is read the question. You don't have to engage. Now, if you're like a mid host, then maybe you watch the series here and there, you follow it on social media so you can like get by. And if you're a great host, you watch the show, you do your research. And so some producer told Sean about a K3 visa and it's written on her cue card. She didn't take the moment to say, what is a K3? This is the first time I'm hearing about it. She just asked the question. That's more likely what happened, right? What we've seen on her journey as a host for 90 Day Fiancé, you could tell that she doesn't watch the show and she's not engaged until she comes and asks her questions. And that's why everyone is so infuriated. Like, how are you missing all these great opportunities to ask questions after the whole season? And what we're seeing in this tell-all is that you can tell she watched the season. And like I said at the top of our show, she watched the season because her job may be in jeopardy. We have a whole new different host for 90 Day the Single Life, and he's a super fan. When you go to his social media, he's talking all things 90 Day all the time, and you can tell he's invested, and that's what we need. We need one of us who are invested to ask the questions that we want follow-up. We don't want some random basic nonsense, because we've already been there, done that. And I think that that's the switch that has happened so far, at least for part one of the tell-all.
Right.
So yeah, Javon and Annalyn are together in the Philippines, and we find out he's going to be staying there for the foreseeable future. And we also find out really sad news, that Annalyn had a miscarriage. And so our condolences are to the both of them. We move on to Joshua and Elise. I was shocked about this one too, because Elise, girl, I like you. I know you have like mean girl energy, but I also appreciate the fact that you stand up on who you are, and you are not ashamed of who you are, and you have no regrets. Whether you like her or hate her, she is secure in who she is as a person, and I appreciate that. But you know, her and Joshua broke up, as they should. But we hear her say, "Hi, baby." And lo and behold, they are back together. I was like, what?
That's a shocker. That was a shocker.
Jazzo said, I saw Sean on TikTok talking about the tell-all. I think her publicity team is working. Girl, they are working, because her job is in jeopardy, Jazlo.
Mm-hmm.
She's not doing Single Life. She gets replaced on this, she's out of a job, because where else is she working besides the 90 Day franchise? Nowhere. And Faisy says, I vote Linda and Abby for host. These people are not going to get by with anything. Facts.
Facts, because I'm all on your Instagram. I know what's going on. You can't lie to me.
And I have insider tea, as you guys know, and I just don't share it. But you know what? I'm gonna take what Abby said, and I'm gonna try to be on social media a little bit more. I've been in my little la la land for a little bit, but I keep saying I'm gonna come back. But then sometimes y'all just piss me off that I would, because you guys are on a lot of you on the East Coast, and so you wake up and you guys are all in the drama. You're like 3 hours in, like whoop 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 whoop, and I wake up like, oh, good morning, praise God, I'm here, and I'm like refreshed. I'm making my coffee. Let me turn on social media. MF and you. I'm like, oh, whoa. And then I just have to sign out, because y'all had 3-hour head start. So it's a little overwhelming sometimes, but I'll try to do better. Olivia, thank you so much for the super sticker. That's my second super sticker in a long time. So I really appreciate you. That is so kind. What did Sean do before 90 Days? She was actually a huge entertainment reporter, you guys. She was part of the E family team and did like what I do, like red carpet stuff, celebrity interviews. She was big. Like she was like one of the first major Black female entertainment reporters. She's a little bit older, doesn't look it, but she's a little bit older. So her like generation, she was like a pioneer, really.
Yeah. I remember her from, you guys remember when TLC used to be the Learning Channel, and it had stuff on it like Baby Story and Wedding Story? When they first transitioned into doing reality TV, that's where I remember starting to see Sean.
Yeah. I mean, even when I was coming up, you guys, I came to LA and she was like not hosting a class. She was doing a class for up and coming entertainment reporters, and I took it. And I'll look for the picture. I took a picture with her, did the whole class, whole thing. And then later on, I think I've told this story before, and I can pull it up because it's somewhere on my YouTube. But she's not very friendly in real life. I hate to tell it. Like, you know, when you're like, oh, that's someone to look up to. I think I remember my question. My question to her was, what advice would you give up and coming entertainment reporters for longevity in the industry? Because she's had a long, you guys, she's had a long career, really. And she's still in her career. So that was my question to her. And she said to me on the red, it was a major red carpet, you guys, a major red carpet. She said to me, oh, entertainment reporters like me? And our producer said, no, like us. Let that sink in, you guys. Girls.
Mm-hmm,
All right.
mm-hmm.
So Joshua and Elise are back together. I don't know in what world that makes sense, but here we are. Lisa and Daniel, I wrote it correctly this time, Joslo. Lisa and Daniel are up next. Giovanna and Annalyn tell Lisa that she's beautiful, and I'm still stuck on I'm just stuck on her eyes. I was having a hard time even listening to her because I was like, I don't know. She tells everyone that they've ended their relationship. They got back together for like 4 to 5 weeks, but then they broke up again. Yeah. And listen, everything that she's going through is, if you guys go and watch Abby and I, when they went to the cleansing, everything that I told you guys off the record is everything that's happening to her. I don't want to be like I told y'all so, but you don't mess around, especially when you don't understand the culture. You don't mess around. That's all I'm saying.
So you guys, on Thursdays, I volunteer at the Nigerian Center. I do free immigration consultations over there. And so when I went over there, I was trying to get a couple of the Igbo people to watch, and they wouldn't even watch it. They just turned like no, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. Like it's that serious. You don't go playing with people's stuff.
I try to tell y'all. I should have got my mom to come on today. You just don't play around with that stuff. I promise you. Anyways, okay. So Rick and Trisha's update is that she is 6 months pregnant, which we called Abby. When I saw that photo and I was like, oh, this girl's pregnant. Go. And I told you all to go to her Instagram. Abby and I called it 100%. So she's
Linda was like, look at her nose.
Yeah, and that's only because, again, you all, our community, are our family, and part of our family is a midwife, and she has taught me so much. Shout out Crystal, has taught me so much about just pregnancy and labor and all the stuff, and she told me and showed me what to look for, and so yes, we called that. We knew she was pregnant. So 6 months pregnant. Elise, go ahead and ask the question that Sean should have asked immediately. Are you the dad? That's why you need a super fan, because those are the questions, right? Obviously, you want to know that. And if that was not top of mind for Sean, then shout out Elise. Again, the reason why I like her, to ask the question. And he's not the dad. And then you hear Trisha's like, you okay, Rick? And
I was like, that's right, Trisha. Just go ahead and pour that salt in that wound and rub it in. Rub it in good.
Rub it in and make a paste with it and then throw it back at him. And then someone, I didn't catch who it was because I was laughing. So I was doing this, and then someone said it could have been yours. And I just was like, I fell out. I love the petty on 100. I'm here for it. And they wrap up this quick part, the quick synopsis of each couple with Laura and Beer Can. And so we're going to start the in-depth discussion with Laura and Beer Can. So what we find out is Laura went back to Turkey for a second time to visit Beer Can. And they went on, quote unquote, a holiday. And I mean, I guess I believe it, you guys, because he said it, and I have no reason to doubt him. But also, you guys, he's a terrible individual in real life, and we're gonna talk about that as soon as the tell-all's over. But I'll say alleged because we're on YouTube, but he's a super racist and he's a super narcissist and terrible individual. So I'm having a hard time knowing what I know, believing all the things that he's saying right now. But yes, thank you, Olivia. Not Laura smoking hookah and defending a racist. That part. So like you guys, and it's really really bad. He's really terrible. But allegedly, let's not jump ahead. Allegedly, she went back to Turkey, upgraded her string ring for this beautiful diamond ring that he surprised her with, allegedly. So, you know, they're still engaged, and now she has a ring on it. And Sean asks if their schmex is still vanilla and spice. And yes, indeed, it's still the case. But allegedly, it's gotten better. And she is still on track to bring BeerCon to the United States. And Abby, do you want to speak on that a little bit?
Yeah, so let's go through the letter that she brought because I zoomed in on it.
Oh, can we wait till we get to that letter part and just talk about what that process is for an American bringing over a non-American? Because we're going to get to that part and then we can go into it.
Okay. So just before I do that, you guys, I just want to say something because they showed the picture of her doing hookah, which they call shisha. Okay. It's very, very, it is not what you have in your flower wall restaurant here in the United States. Okay. That is something serious. That is, you take 2 drags, and I was like, oh my goodness, did I just do that, white girl, without knowing it? That's how strong that stuff was over there. Okay. Don't go playing around with that. Okay. So the process is, if you're applying for a fiance visa, is that you have to meet in person at least one time, unless you have one of the acceptable excuses or exemptions for not meeting in person. One of the exemptions is a religious exemption, for example. And after you've met in person at least one time.
Question, teacher. They're calling it K1 visa. So is that
yes?
Thank
the
you.
fiance visa is called the K1 visa. The actual form that you fill out is the I-129. That is the K1/fiance visa. Once you apply for it, you should expect that you're going to wait to get a receipt maybe 4 to 6 weeks. And then after that, you're going to get an approval or a denial, let's say within a year. Okay, that's only the first part of that process. After you get that approval, then they're going to go into queue and a waiting line to have an interview at the U.S. consular in their home country. After they go to that interview, assuming everything goes well, they receive a stamp in their passport where they can enter the United States on that fiance visa. So that's the simplified process. Within that process, there could be a request that you give additional evidence. There could be a request for an additional interview, but that's the basic process. And yes, exactly. Like Olivia said, it makes your head spin. Their shisha over there makes your head spin. I literally was having difficulty lifting my head up, and the guy kept telling me, you got to smoke faster. It's burning. You got to go faster. And I was like, oh no, I'm out. I'm done. I can't do this.
And is it a flavored tobacco? Jazzo's asking.
That is my understanding. That's what I've always thought that it was, but I did not feel the same having it in Istanbul as I felt anytime that I've been somewhere in the United States and had it. It did not feel the same.
Okay. And if any of you guys have more information, definitely keep that live chat popping. If you're watching the replay, let us know. So the K1 visa process, she's still planning to bring beer can over, in my personal opinion, that was his game plan from the beginning. As you guys know, he was like, whatever, by any means necessary, I want a new life in America. And he's long-terming it, just like Michael long-termed it, in my personal opinion. That being said, Laura lets us all know that just before she got to the tell-all, that she filled out the K1 visa, and it was been a waiting game for her. And yet she got an envelope from immigration. She hasn't opened it, and she waited for the tell-all to see Beer Can so that they can open it together. She's like, do you want, she did like a whole, it was like a game show. Should I open it, you guys? Should I open it? Beer Can, should I open it? Should I open it? And that's what she did. She opened it. And she said that there was no immigration status or benefit. That's the line that she read of the letter, that her O2 status is continuing, and we'll let Abby, the immigration attorney, take it from there.
So what it sounds like to me is that they're requesting additional documents. So she submitted it a while ago, so she should already have her receipt. That wouldn't be her receipt. So she said, oh, we're continuing to process it, is what she read. Sometimes they'll send what's called a request for evidence. We refer to that as an RFE, request for evidence. And sometimes it's just because you forgot something in your initial submission, like, oh, you forgot to include the 2 photos that you need. Oh, you forgot to include the correct filing fee. And sometimes it's because something that was included was not legible. Oh, the passport copy that you provided, you know, there's one letter on there that we couldn't read. We need you to send us another one. And sometimes it's because the documentation was provided without translation. So you sent us over a copy of his passport, but you didn't send us over a translation. Some people think that if it just has the minor translations on the actual front of the passport, it's acceptable. No, you have to still do an English translation for it. So that's what it sounds like she got. Sometimes they are a little bit more serious, but a lot of times they're just like little things that people miss, especially if they're filing on their own. So that's what it sounded like. And that's what it looked like from the front too.
And Ryan has a great question. And I'm going to like kind of add on to her question. But so Beer can gamble away Laura's money if he gets to the United States. And that is something that I've heard you talk about a lot. Is that something that they're going to look at, Abby? Because we talked about it with like someone being an exotic dancer, and that's something that they don't fondly on. If you're, you know, an alleged gambler, is that going to be a barrier to you coming to the United States?
It could be, but he doesn't have any criminal history. So when you look at the questions that you get asked when you apply for residency, there's a specific question that asks if you're planning to participate in prostitution. And there are questions that ask if you have ever been charged with distributing or selling any types of substances that we can't say on YouTube. And in their own discretion, they also have some discretion to deny people for what they think is like immoral behavior or behavior that would cause the person to become a public charge in the United States. But with him not having any criminal history, I don't think that they would hold it against him as like sports betting as much as they hold prostitution against women.
Very interesting.
It's just because like the people who are conducting the interviews are the same people that we meet in real life. They're the same people that we see online. And what I mean by that is they have the same biases. When you go to an interview at USCIS, you aren't suddenly in a place that's free of racism or misogyny or sexism. You're still subject to all of that in that interview.
Ryan would like to know, Abby, do they look at the financials of the person trying to come to the U.S.?
For this visa, no. For this visa, they're only looking at the finances of the person who is filing the petition, which would be Laura in this case. However, if you're applying for a visitor's visa or a student visa, that is when they would look at the immigrant's finances. Does the immigrant actually have enough money to cover their school education? And do they have guarantees from family members or friends that are going to be providing their their daily living needs. Does the visitor have enough money to actually travel to the United States or be able to travel back home? That's when they make those financial inquiries.
Thank you. So that being said, Laura talks about her time leaving Turkey the first time. So when she left Turkey, she left on not speaking terms with Michael, and they haven't seen each other since. And when asked if, since this process is not complete for the K1 visa, what's next for her, and she's planning to take another trip to Turkey. And this also answers the question that Abby had, like, hey, you brought us all the way to Turkey, you showed us that you went to this plastic surgery place, and then we just didn't hear anything. It was like a waste of a day and waste of time for us, right? Because these episodes are not short. That's at least 2 hours of your day.
Mm-hmm.
But she is planning to go back, and she has a surgery plan to remove the excess skin from her major weight loss. We also find out that Birkan is allegedly no longer homeless. He's living with his family at an apartment that he said that he bought. Now, y'all, you know that I like facts and common sense, right? So, like, just play the scenario out in your mind, okay? Just play it out. And let me know if it makes sense to you. But you bought an apartment, you own a condo, and sure, you let your parents move in with you for whatever reason. And then you don't get along with your parents, and you move out and are homeless and are sleeping on other people's couches. And then after your online girlfriend can't afford to continue to pay for Airbnbs for you to live in, you move back to the apartment that you said that you paid for with the parents that you say you don't get along with. Like, I don't know about you guys. I don't know. Just for me.
So if we want to believe Birkan, here's the scenario that could have happened. He's doing well as a footballer. He decides to buy an apartment and give it to his parents. That's got my name on it, but you all can live there. He has his major injury. He no longer has his footballer income. And now, instead of feeling like a loser, for lack of better words, he told us that he was like depressed when that injury happened and he lost everything and he lost his cafes because of COVID. He didn't want to move back home and feel like he was struggling. He wanted to try and make it out on his own. But now that he has this plan to come to the United States, he sees a brighter future ahead. He doesn't mind going back to live with his parents or going to live with his parents while he waits out this journey for Laura to get him his visa. That's a story if you want to believe him. But do we believe him? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not into it. I don't believe it for one bit. At what level was he playing football? Because he wasn't pro. He wasn't going to be in the World Cup. Like, he wasn't at that level. So, like, I mean, I don't know. I just don't believe it. But again, you guys, I don't believe it because I also know he's a terrible individual. And so if you're terrible, I'm going to have a hard time believing you anyways. So maybe it's true. Maybe what Abby's saying is true. He bought it a long time ago when he was at the peak of his career. And yet he still needs to be homeless because of his ego. Either way, it's trash. And the fact that he felt like he had to throw that in at the tell-all just tells me everything I need to know about him. So that being
he does have a Wikipedia page. So I don't know enough about football to know what their income is, but his Wikipedia page has nothing to do with 90 Day Fiancé.
I am a footballer fan, so I'll go in Black Stars all day, by the way, and we've made it. Let's win our little group F. Anyways, okay. Sidetrack. She's gonna go back. She's gonna get surgery, remove the extra skin, And yet when she goes back, even the third time or however many times she's been there, she hasn't met his family yet, hasn't met his father. And Beer Can has a whole excuse that he doesn't get along with his father. They fight every day. And so he's basically shielding her from that toxic energy. And I have to say that there has to be more to that story, because even if you don't get along, right? People will be on their best behavior when you bring a third party into it. They really tend to be that way. So why else do you not want Laura? Excuse me. Yeah, Laura, got it right. Why else do you not want her to meet your family? And then he's like, oh, well, my friends are my family, which is absolutely true. Your friends are the family that you choose. But there's something more that he's hiding, because he's been hiding this whole season, right? That being said, the other thing he tells everyone is that he has paid his $50,000 in debt in full, all of it, because he went to Cyprus and he hit the grand jackpot. And guess what, Abby? The grand jackpot just happened to be exactly $50,000.
Just like an 80s sitcom. Guys, we need $25,000 in order to save our house. Oh my God, there's a talent show and the grand prize is $25,000. In 1 week, we're going to learn a Michael Jackson routine and perform it and win the talent show. Now we can save the house.
Believe what you want to believe, you guys. That's outrageous. That's all I know. Okay? His debt has accumulated, some interest on it, day to day. Like I just okay, friend. You're the 50,000 that you said you won. I'm sure that Cyprus has some type of tax that you have to pay before you walk away. Like, just stop playing with me. Just stop it. Speaking of Michael Jackson, his movie is out. You guys absolutely go see it. I've only heard great, amazing things about it. It's the #1 movie in the world right now. So if you watch it, let me know. I'm excited. I want to dress up and do all the things. So, yeah, no debt apparently. On his way to America soon, allegedly, because his K1 visa process is moving forward. So he's really living his best life. Bought a ring with what money? Was it the 50,000? You took a little bit out of the 50,000 you won and bought this big ring. Like, Laura came to visit, and you're the one that paid for the Airbnb. So, like, I mean, is that all from that 50,000, or are you pulling for? Let me just stop. So yeah, in the meantime, her and her best friend Michael, that she knew for what, a year and a half, are not speaking, and they haven't spoken since the first Turkey trip. And so they bring Michael to the tell-all, and there's clear tension. And you guys, this whole situation, as a woman, we already know what's going on here. Silver Lining brought it up a few episodes ago, but the fact that Laura is loving that there are two men vying for attention, exactly like the dark romances that she reads all the time with a young foreigner and like an old incel, it just tells you everything you need to know. And then she's making herself the star of the show, and at least to her, she's the star of this little mini series. So he shows up, and apparently they had a fight because she upgraded her flight and she didn't tell him how to upgrade his flight, and said, quote, "You're on your own, MF." Now, my first question is, if that's your best friend, why would you not want them to upgrade and sit with you on the long trip home, considering he came there for you, allegedly for your best interest? Like, what type of cockamamie friendship do you all have? Unless it's not a true friendship, which, again, I think that's where we are. You guys were only friends for a year and a half, but you were besties, with both of you having specific intentions of what you're getting out of the relationship. The whole cast think that Michael is jealous of BeerCon and Laura's relationship. I 100% agree. He met this girl with all his insecurities and all the things that spent time with him, that put him on a pedestal, and men with their little fragile egos, because he hasn't had anything like that in a real romantic relationship. He was getting everything he needed from a romantic relationship in this friendship without having to put himself out there so that his little feelings wouldn't get hurt, right? So he was all protected. And then when his best friend made a move on him, he didn't want to jeopardize the friendship. And he also didn't, because he didn't want to lose the adoration that he was getting, right? And then now he can also put on top of, well, I never wanted to be with you. I just want to be friends with you. I never wanted to be with you. You're the one that came after me. You like me. Fragile little ego, right? So there's that. So now that's going to be missing, because insert BeerCon, and now Laura's attention is directed to her younger Wiles. And so now he's jealous of that. He's not necessarily jealous like, oh, I want to be with you. He's jealous of the attention that is misdirected and not in his direction.
Right.
So Forrest, again, shining on the tell-all, says, you've been like the third wheel this whole time and you're getting less attention. And I said, Forrest with the wisdom. And then he turns to Laura, Forrest turns to Laura and said, you shouldn't have let it get to this. And again, agreed. Because just like Silver Lining has told us, you're doing this because you're reading these books and you want to be the heroine of these dark romances, and that's why you've put yourself in this situation. And you really don't want to not be friends with Michael because you still like the attention that it brings you. Abby?
Yeah, I agree. I think that she's missing. Well, first of all, let's talk about the elephant in the room. She's obviously put on a lot of that weight back on. And I think that what they're both missing is the fact that they used to do so many activities together and they used to meal prep together. So even if he doesn't have a crush on her, like a lot of us reasonably assume that he does, at least he's missing that routine that he fell into for a year of them doing all those things together. And I understand that. I also understand being upset if you're on a flight with someone and they move to a different section. So this happened to me before. A friend of mine, we were on our way back from Peru, and she got offered a flight upgrade and took it. And I was telling myself, don't be mad that she upgraded her flight. That's okay. She gets to have more legroom and stuff. But then in the end, I was like, but we're friends. If we're friends, why wouldn't we do this long flight together where we can talk to each other and hang out, So I could understand being upset by that.
Mm-hmm. Ryan says, Laura no longer is an accountability buddy, and it shows.
That's basically what I was saying. And maybe I was also thinking, maybe it's the camera angles that they're giving us, the tell-all, versus seeing her, when she was filming in Turkey. But some of the camera angles where she is sitting down are extremely unflattering and look significantly larger than where she was before, which is fine. She can have whatever kind of body that she wants, but it just seems as though they're both kind of missing the activities that they used to do together. So yeah. I wouldn't how would you feel if you're about to board a flight with someone? Forget the fact that he flew out there to be with her and help her. How would you feel if this person you're flying with got an upgrade and accepted it, or looked for an upgrade and got it, and then was like nanny boo boo when you asked how they got the flight upgrade?
Agreed. Olivia says, Michael said they would get up at 4 a.m. to work out together. So without him coming around, she stopped going. And goes on to say that beer can encourages bad habits for Laura, but she doesn't seem to care.
Yeah.
Shrug.
But they're both being incredibly juvenile about it. Like the things that they're saying to each other are not very mature. Like, oh, I'm glad she's with Beer Con. That gets her out of my life. And the shots that she like, they're both being very juvenile. Like, if you're ending a friendship with someone and the season for that friendship is just over, then that's okay. Like, friend, our time has come to a close. Maybe I'll see you in the next season. You don't have to take shots and be mean to each other, especially you both know each other's major insecurities at this point. Like, don't be pulling those out on each other. That's not right.
I just think it's this. It's all, yeah. It's juvenile. It's juvenile behavior. It's insecurities. I think that Michael is no better than Laura, and I can't stand the fact that he continues to say how you're the one that wanted me. I didn't want to be with you, and blah blah. But like, no one cares about that. If your friendship is over, just say that and keep it pushing. You guys are both
Hmm.
grown adults. No one is keeping you guys together. But the fact that you have to continue to tell the whole world that she's the one that wanted you because that one time she made a move on you, you need to just let go of that. And has there not been anyone else that has tried to make a move on you? Because let's talk about that. And then for the fact that he said that he needs to, quote, stay away so that Beer Can doesn't have anything to worry about, I just was like, all of this is about your little tiny fragile ego, and go ahead and stay away. How about don't even come on the tell-all if you're only bringing the fact that you turned her away? No one cares about that. That was not the storyline. But the fact that you have to continue to tell people is it's tacky, and it just shows your insecurities. And go work on yourself. Go to therapy.
Hmm.
Emma and Ziad,
Let's just jump straight to Izzy.
the fact that Muhammad was ever even an issue in this so-called relationship is outrageous. We find out that Emma's actively dating, and we find out that, first of all, Ziad, the cast came for Ziad, y'all. No, his behavior, and I hope they do the same. They bring that same energy for Rick, because the way they came for Ziad, like everyone back to back, like pow, 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 pow. Ziad's like, Emma only cares about herself, he says, and he says it was a mistake being with her. He realized that the second she got there, he didn't like her. Well, why did you say that? Why didn't you say that from the beginning? Why did you just fight with her? Why did you sleep with her? Why did you take her to all these places? Why did you call her your future wife? Why did you introduce her to your friends? Why did you do all of that just to slam her down? Oh, because you wanted to use her for sex?
Hmm.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
We find out that this whole charade that he is putting on, allegedly, he had been sleeping with another girl from England before Emma got to Morocco. And so and the cast slams him about this no sex pre-wedding because of religion is trash. Because are you upholding your religious beliefs, or are you just faking the funk? Because we know that you slept with Emma, and now we're finding out that you were sleeping with other people, allegedly. And yet here you are condemning her, talking crazy to her, telling her that she's fake. I mean, I know the saying is like don't call the kettle. Well, actually, I don't. Okay, whatever.
Please.
Calling the
Please
kettle
say it.
That's calling the kettle black. That's all I got.
Yep, pot calling the kettle black. You were so close.
That part. But hello, you talking about fake? You're faking the funk too.
Hmm.
I guess you're calling it out because you recognize it. So Sean says, is that true? Joshua was hilarious because this is what happens, okay? Screen Ziad. Screen Sean. Screen Emma. Ziad. Is that true? You've been sleeping around. Screen Emma with the like tell him face. And then you have Joshua with his bag of chips. I was like, see, the producers are on fire. That was so funny to me. He's like there for the tea. So the producer comes out with Emma's phone. She starts reading the receipts, and Laura asks him directly, "Did you F someone?" And he deflects the question and says, your name is Emma Angel, but you're not Angel, you're Demon Emma. And that's where her twin sister Izzy jumps in and is shocked by the way this fool is talking to her twin sister. So she comes out with the rest of the cast standing up for Emma. And they're like, you know what? No, your attitude is disgusting. Your feelings for my sister were untrue. And by the way, she didn't even really love you. And when her sister said everything that Abby's been saying this whole season, I was like, you guys, just watch our show because we are always right. Either I'm right or Abby's right. But between the two of us, we are absolutely right. And you know what, you guys, sometimes you don't want to hear what, especially I have to say, but we end up being right. Because guess what? Her twin sister said Emma is in love with being engaged and having a wedding. She was never in love with the Ziad. Hello. This is where I put the split screen on where you see Abby saying, Emma just wants to be engaged. Insert any Moroccan. Engage. Okay. Point made. Point taken. And oh, by the way, not only did she not really love you, Zia, she was hooking up with other people the whole way to her eventual trip to see you. So as she was talking to you, because online relationships are not real relationships, as we say, she's still out there actively dating. And then when she's like, hey, I got to go to Morocco, let me focus my attention on this Moroccan fool that I also met online. That's what she did. But that didn't stop her from all the dates that she was going on, as it shouldn't, because that's what dating is. Mm-hmm. Your little online relationship, I don't know if you're on friggin', I don't know, Tinder or friggin' Facebook or whatever, wherever you're dating, if you've not met that person in real life, that you're not in a relationship with them, and B, it's dating, right? Because you still have to meet them in real life. And meeting someone for the first time does not mean that that's your relationship. That's a date. And right, you're allowed to go on other dates with other people. So let's just be clear on that, okay?
It's okay, guys. You can date someone overseas and just tell them, I love talking to you. I love video chatting with you. But until we see each other in person, we are not going to talk about being exclusive.
And why would you even want to be exclusive? To what? What do you be? You never met that person. Where do they live? Oh, you don't know? What color are their bed sheets? Oh, you don't know because you never met them, but you're being exclusive with them? Stop it. Just, we're having a hot girl summer, and we're not being stupid girls this summer. So we're cutting all the BS as of today. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So we also find out that Emma, listen, Ziad got it from all angles. So the cast crushing him, Emma on fire crushing him, said Ziad is teeny weeny, and not only teeny weeny, he didn't even last long. And when she threw out 10 seconds, I just, you guys, it took me a minute to recover from that because that was hilarious, but also really believable.
It took me back to who was the young lady that we did the exclusive interview with? Memphis. It took me back to Memphis talking about her first time with her fiance, I think was in Tunisia. And she was like, it was like a pump and a half.
The stuff that we put up with as women for these little fragile ego men who have their own issues is wild to me. Like wild. It's wild. And you know what? He didn't really buck up because you know what could he say? He's like, oh, you could call me teeny weeny. Because you know it's true. Like if this was like an alternate universe where you could just do whatever, I would say, okay, prove it. Prove it. If she's lying, go ahead and prove it to us right now.
Mm-hmm.
And if you know anything about me, you guys, I absolutely would say that. I absolutely would say that. Old story, fun fact, old story. Still same personality, but this is I'm very direct, but I was way more direct in my younger years. Long story short, this person was big D energy. And I had heard that and I'd seen it from the behavior. And if any of you women know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. And he took me out to eat one day and that whole energy was like permeating throughout the evening. And, you know, I like facts. So as he's walking me to my car and his like, oh, you know, all that, I said, okay, I'm tired of this. Show me. I literally asked him to show me, and he did. He dropped his pants and showed me.
You guys, this is amazing. This is an amazing look into Linda's life.
He showed me, and you know what? He was not lying. I'll say that he was not lying. So go ahead and continue on with that energy. I actually referred a friend to him, and and ever since then, I was like his bestie. All right, then.
You gave him a referral. That's hilarious.
I gave him a referral because it wasn't going to be me, but I gave him a referral, and and she was very happily recommended. Okay, back to regularly programmed show stuff. Ziad won't admit that he was intimate with Emma. And even if he did do it, he literally said on international TV that he would not admit it. And that tells us all we need to know about him. He goes on to then try to degrade Emma by saying that she has fake hair and it was a mistake to be with her. She's a fake personality and she fakes the way she speaks. Where Rick, who's my least favorite, stuck up for Emma and said, well, actually, you're a fake Muslim. And I was like, oh, okay, Rick. Because, you know, pot calling the kettle black again, right? You want to talk about fake. To that, Ziad said, but you're a fake father. You guys, you want to know why I was screaming? Because Rick got so mad, like it touched a nerve. It touched a nerve.
That touched a nerve. It did. No, it literally touched a nerve. I think probably they're going to finally tell us about the child who passed away.
Yeah.
Because it's not been addressed in the show. It's only been addressed online. And I felt like, oh, that's the nerve that he touched, whether he intended to or not.
Yep. So Rick freaks out. He says, I'm more father you'll ever be in your entire life. So hopefully we get to hear more about that on the tell-all, because there is a huge backstory to that whole thing. It's over between them. They're never going to talk again. Emma says bye B to him and then says, you know, go F yourself. Laura chimes in, says the same thing. It was messy, you guys. It was very messy, but all the entertainment that we needed. Yes, Abby.
So Ziad is telling us that because of his religion and culture, he is going to be a modest person who keeps his sexual history to himself, but then he goes out purposefully with daggers to attack Emma and other cast members. And I think that's really shameful. He should be ashamed of himself for that behavior. If your intent is to present a good representation for your culture and religion, then you should have apologized to Emma for misleading her on what would happen once she arrived there and said, you know, I made a mistake. I shouldn't have done that. And I'm very sorry for the experience that you had while you were here. And I just really don't want to say anything more about it.
Agreed. The comments, you guys are just amazing. You guys are amazing. Thank you guys for being here. You are entertaining me. You are distracting me, but you guys are really, really, really funny. Becca versus Taco. Oh my gosh.
The fill-in Moroccan fiance.
Yeah,
these comments are hilarious.
So, last confessional of the evening, I believe, if I'm not wrong, is Laura. Laura says that Ziad is not in the same league as Emma and calls him a douchebag. And then we see Elise, and Elise says to camera that Rob and Emma have been hooking up. And then because I don't think I watched the Hunt for Love season, I didn't realize that Elise is from Hunt for Love. Did you know that?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
I didn't watch it, but I knew that, yeah.
So they show the clip of her and Rob. So Elise and Rob making out. That's the clip they showed. And then we find out through Elise that Emma and Rob gets around, y'all. That Emma and Rob have been hooking up for a year. Put me in a room with Emma and Rob, and Pedro and Sophie, and I will give you guys the best show that you've seen. I will give you guys the best TV that you've ever seen. Trust and believe. And we move on to Jovan and Anna. I thought he had been there way longer, but they made it seem like he packed his life, got settled. He's been there for 4 days, y'all. He could easily turn around and go home. This is nothing. He's going to run out of his $1,000 and be like, peace out, I'm out. He's been there for 4 days, but he's staying in the Philippines, and Anna, he says, is, quote, his home. I hate that. I hate when men are like, oh, I've never met anyone like you. You are my peace. All of those things are red flags, you guys. Okay? You are my peace. It's because guess what? He's at a war with himself, and he's gonna erupt on you. You are my home. It's because this fool is homeless. He was living with 3 people, had no job, no future prospects. And now that he came and visited Anna, who has a stable home, big home, pets, mom that loves her, a full-on kitchen and bedroom and plumbing and all the things, and living by herself, guess what? Now, yeah, that's your home too, because you feel like the little $600 that you sent her, you own that place. So don't get it twisted. Him saying that Anna is his home is his incel talk. I can incel and I can interpret for you guys, and that is exactly what I'm doing for you.
Yeah. So this is where Sean missed a question that I think should be a number one question when you're moving to another country. What are you doing for money?
Yeah, because he quit his job and said that this is a permanent move. Explain to us the process that you went through in order to get there. What did, besides quitting your job and telling your roommates, hey, here's my 30 days notice? What else did you do to set yourself and your wife up for success so that now
Exactly.
she's not the one that's going to have to support you in the home that she created and had before you?
Right. Did you arrive with your work permit? Did you already get all of that taken care of before you left? Are you still going through an immigration process over there? Because like any opportunity that we have to educate Americans on immigration processes is really good, because most of us, we don't touch it. We're not familiar with it. Even those of us who travel, because most of the countries we go to are visa free or visa on demand, we don't have that experience of what it's like to go to another country. So it would be good to talk about that, like, because they were already married, because they've already met each other in person. Was he able to get his work permit already before he went out there, or does he have to get one now? Just like give us those details, Sean.
That part. Becca says, and why are none of the seniors from the home on the tell all? Yes, that would have been an extra little sprinkle on top. That would have been perfect. So one of the concerns that Annalyn has had was the Alpha Bro podcast, that, you know, incel, red pill, power, responsibility with no authority, yada, 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 all that stuff. And the fact that Jovan literally said parts of Asia, women are supposed to be less modern and more traditional, aka submissive, aka don't have a thought or brain for themselves, aka don't stand up to the misogynistic, disgusting behavior of their testosterone filled incel behavior, can't get a woman elsewhere men. That's why those men fly to other parts of the world, specifically Asia, specifically the Philippines, because women are supposed to be more submissive. And he thought that that's who he was marrying. Literally,
From the horse's mouth.
footage that was not seen before. I added a few things, but that was the basic concept of what this man was saying. And literally then said verbatim that he married Annalyn and now he's stuck with her, as if he was looking at a litter of puppies and felt like he picked the wrong puppy. He thought the puppy that he picked was not going to piss and poop in the apartment, and that he thought that if he kicked the puppy wouldn't whimper and make a sound. And instead, that puppy is doing all those things. So now he picked the wrong puppy. So now he's this puppy. You're stuck with her. Listen, you guys, the way I would have cussed this fool out is beyond me.
And notice they played that clip and he didn't say, I don't feel like that anymore. I've grown a lot from that. No, he was just like,
And then to top it all off, you guys, he said, and I quote, had Anna demonstrated those behaviors earlier, they probably would not have gotten married. I'm sorry. Demonstrated that she's a strong, independent, smart, educated, can stand on her own 2 feet type of woman. Had she displayed those things, you wouldn't have married her. You need to just get out of here. Just get out of here. That's it. Get out of here. Get out of here with your loser self. Get out of here with your incel behavior. Get out of here with your low ego, non-contributing, no job, no education, bad behavior, low intelligence self. Just go elsewhere with it. Because what we're not about to do is put down this woman because she actually has a voice. That's what we're not about to do.
This was the second time that I thought Sean missed a good opportunity to ask a question, because when he said, as an example of her not being feminine, he said, when I ask you to do something, you should just listen. The follow-up question I would have asked is, give me an example of something that you want to be able to say that Anna cannot respond to. She just has to listen and do. Give me an example of that.
Yeah. Javon goes on to say that all those things that he just said, he doesn't mean them. He says those things in frustration. Now, if that is not another red flag, I don't know what else is. That is just like a DV abuser smacking you in the face and saying sorry, he didn't mean it, he was just frustrated. Like,
Right.
they're literally telling you who they are. Literally telling you. You just have to listen.
So the thing that makes me sad about the fact that he's now moved to the Philippines is that the US is not perfect. So this in no way is an endorsement of or patriotism on my part, but she's not going to be as protected in potentially being in an abusive relationship in the way that immigration would be able to protect her in the United States. As a spouse, you can find some protection to keep your status as a resident in the United States if you're here. Outside of the US, you don't have those same protections. And when I'm talking about abuse, I'm not talking about physical abuse, because that is often not, the first thing that happens. I'm talking about financial abuse. I'm talking about emotional abuse, psychological abuse. Those things can happen and persist years and years and years before any physical abuse or without any physical abuse ever occurring. And they are still very, very detrimental to you as a person.
100%. We find out that one of the podcasts that is on Javon's list is Andrew Tate. And we already, I mean, if you don't know, look him up, but that tells me, again, everything I need to know. Beercan jumps in and says, you need to stop listening to those red pill podcasts and start listening to Anna. And we find out that allegedly they're going to start couples therapy next week. Okay.
You can't therapy your way out of an abusive partner.
That's it. And then I'm going to continue to tell you what I just told you about. First, he says that Anna's his home. And then when he said that he feels peace with her, everything that Abby just said about the types of abuse, all of that, that's a red flag. So you need to feel peace within yourself. Happiness has to come from you. Someone else can't make you happy. You have to be happy with yourself and then walk in happiness with someone else's happiness together. Same thing with peace. Someone can't just bring you peace. You have to have peace within yourself. Whatever inner turmoil you have to work on that yourself before you can find peace elsewhere. And so again, red flag. They go on break. There was this cute little tete-a-tete with Forrest and Emma like flirting with Forrest, saying that she loves him, thinks she's super cute. He gets all flustered. I thought it was hilarious. He quickly calls Sheena and says, "Hey, Emma's flirting with me." And then we hear Sheena has a little bit of a sparky, sassy side and says that she will rip that fake bee's lips off. Oh, okay, Sheena. Okay. We go on to Lisa and Daniel.
Hold me. Help me.
I'm going to make this quick. They broke up, as they should, because they're both scamming each other. They got back together. It only lasted 4 to 5 weeks because Lisa felt there was no communication. Plus, he had this other wife that she found out about. He says, no, that wife is not his wife, just friends. And when I tell you that is, like, I every story here, I'm like, men are so universal. They're so universal. There was this Italian guy, and I'm not going to say his name, but there's an Italian guy that pursued me hard, y'all, hard. and told me he had a roommate. And I think I told you guys this before. Don't do anything. First of all, when you're dating, don't rush into anything. Don't do anything until you've literally gone to that person's house. I promise you. Go there and see how they live before you put yourself in a situation. And I never went to his house, and he was pursuing me hard. He told me he lived with a roommate. Fast forward, his roommate is his wife. He has a wife, y'all. Calling it roommate because men are trash and they lie. So that being said, this whole situation where he's saying like he doesn't have a wife, that's just his friend. I guarantee you that she probably thinks that she's the wife. Guarantee you. And there's probably babies involved. Guarantee you.
Right.
So they've been fighting back and forth. Daniel has accused her of being with other women as well as other men, which, you know, is par for the course. We knew that that was going to happen because he's grown up with those biases, and that's who he is. So bringing in a fight, he's going to throw that in her face, right? Because he really doesn't want to be with her. He only wants to be with her for the green card. And when, you know, one of his biggest like sins is the lesbianism of it all, then it's not changing overnight, you guys. He just shifted his belief in order to get what he wanted. And he wants to go to America on this green card. So that's the first thing. So Lisa says, yeah, no, we're not together after those 5 weeks. I couldn't take it. And then that's where Daniel says, no, that situation is a little bit complicated because she's my wife. And everyone's like, well, how can that be? I need you guys to go back to the episode that I covered and explain to you the difference between a traditional wedding and like a regular wedding. I had the whole conversation with you. I explained it to you. I explained the whole thing. It happens in Africa all the time. You can have a traditional wedding and not a church wedding and still be married. And it's a valid marriage in Africa. And then I explained to you, if you go abroad, anywhere abroad, you can bring your spouse to the country on that traditional wedding, but then you need to then go through the entire process of becoming like church legal wedding for wherever for wherever you're living. Okay. I know it. I've seen it. I know people. I just, that's how it is. So when I also said, don't F around because you will find out where you're like lying and making promises and saying all these things in a tradition, in a religion, in a faith that you know nothing about, and then they're speaking in languages that you know nothing about, and you're agreeing to it. Don't be surprised when shit goes awry.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you messing around? So that's what happened. So she feels like she was tricked, but you guys go back to the clip. The guy said, from this day forward, it's you and Daniel only. There will be no other woman. There will be no other man. Go back and watch the clip, though. Okay. You were agreeing to the cleansing and the tying of your souls together. That's what you said you wanted. That's what you only wanted, even though you knew nothing about this man. You met him on the internet, and then you don't know the language, and you're like, okay. I said I wasn't going to go super far into it, and I won't. But just you're traditionally married. You went to this cleansing. You had this wedding, whether you knew it or not. You agreed to the things that this guy was saying, and the things that he said in English, you agreed to, and you lied on, and you continue to lie on. You lied to the uncle and that blessing, and this cleansing and blessing. You continue to lie on. I mean, I don't know what you thought was going to happen. So then her daughter Faith comes out, all mad. I feel like they gave Faith a bad edit because Faith has been the voice of reason this whole season, and for her to come out all belligerent and like cussing, and I just thought it was a bad edit because that really, to me, it just put a damper on the fact that she has been the voice of reason and sound judgment this whole season for her mom and probably her whole life was disappointing to me. But she came out, called Daniel toxic. No way he was going to be in the family with her. He's a scammer, a love bomber, yada, yada, yada. I think there was a finger involved. I don't know, but it was disappointing. Lisa said that she was cursed by the priest, and that if she goes outside of her marriage, one of them will die. And she ended up in the hospital and almost died. And again, one thing I just want to tell you guys is that I don't want you guys to stereotype the poor white woman victim, because she went there for her own purposes. She lied on those purposes, and she agreed to do all the things that she agreed to do because she wanted her passport bro husband. You guys told a passport mom, whatever you guys told me it was, whatever, sex tourist. That's what she was doing.
That's exactly what she was.
She wanted it by any means necessary and agreed to all the things. So before you go on and say all the stereotype stuff, just remember that she put herself in that position on her own, willingly, and by herself. She could have easily not done those things, but she did it because she wanted what she wanted. And when Abby said a few episodes ago where she didn't care about any of the religion, and she's like, oh, can we have sex now? That's all she cared about, period, full stop. So if you feel like you're cursed by the priest, you probably shouldn't have gone to the priest and lied to his face in a faith and religion that you knew nothing about. That's it.
Yeah, and that's it. I don't feel sorry for her at all. I don't feel sorry for anything that happens to her. I don't even know if what's happening to her is related at all, but I don't care. I don't care. Like, let everyone who tries to go do sex tourism meet the same or worse fate.
That's it. That's all I got. You guys, it's been so good. The tell-all was very juicy. I can't wait for part 2. You guys don't forget to like and subscribe. We see. We love you guys, and we will see you again this week. Toodle!
Toodaloo. Bye-bye.